Doesn't that put more of a value on that heart you
Ex
have, right?
exactly.
So can we be strong enough to, and not to be too cliche or cheesy, but to love through hard things? And I think the other side of the paradigm for maybe some of your listeners is and I love to tell people this: just because my heart bleeds doesn't mean my mind's not sharp.
Right.
Just because I have a heart for a resident, just because I have a heart to have impact, doesn't mean that, we are executing at a very high operational level. In fact, we have to have more impact.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Micah Johnson, and today I'm joined by Mario Brown, who's been making some serious moves in the multifamily real estate industry for about a decade now. Mario, welcome in, man. Glad to have you.
Micah, thanks for having me, man. It's great to spend a Friday with you.
Absolutely. I'm excited for our conversation, man. I think our listeners are really going to take something away from how you approach real estate in general in the area that you're in. I really appreciated some of the things you spoke about pre-recording. So let's dig in right there. For people who may not know you yet, what's your main focus right now and what markets are you operating in?
Yeah, thank you. So we focus on what we call NOAA properties, or naturally occurring affordable housing. Really quick for your listeners that aren't aware, 1970s and 1990s garden style apartments that I say, they have the right things wrong with them. We're recovering value add investors in the multifamily space here in the upstate of South Carolina between, Charlotte and Atlanta. But our kind of footprint operationally kind of travels through both North and South Carolina.
Gotcha. And what got you into real estate, man? What was that 10 years ago that led you into the industry?
Like most, I think, when podcasts were emerging on the scene, when Bigger Pockets was, all I could listen to, graduating from college, I was an on-site sales agent for a home builder. So each day learning, and then once kind of started to get pretty good at sales, started to invest in single family homes, understand, what I was good at, what I wasn't good at. Ultimately, I ended up going through, I did a lot of that, and ultimately went through a program called Leadership Greenville that our chamber hosted that exposed young leaders, and obviously me being one of them, to the issues of the day, right, in the community. It
Mhm.
was a 1 year program, and I got totally lit up over the housing day. And I think that what I was kind of challenged with, Micah, was this idea that I should connect my professional skill with a community need. Not only would I find, kind of heart and mind alignment with that, but that there was inelastic demand. That there was, if we built it or delivered it, it would rent and the folks would come, so to speak. So that was
Right.
it really turned me on to what I call really a community housing approach to multifamily, though the skills needed are very much market rate skills, putting earnest money down over the years, executing, CapEx and value add, underwriting, all the things that it would take to raise $50 million and buy 1,500 apartments. Right. But for us is the operational pieces and leaning into the resident have become really, I think, the hallmarks of our our value add strategy and the genesis of a lot of businesses that we've launched.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And going there, you've launched quite a few, and it's not just one that you're into right now, and they all touch each other. So expand on what it is that y'all really do. Natural occurring affordable housing. I love that term. And then what other opportunities have you connected around it to help you keep growing?
Yeah, so I'm going to take this from really through the kind of the observations, the operational observations that I think a value add investor has as he's going through a deal or the horizon of a deal. First, man, these managers suck. Boy, man, I don't even know where to get an incentive for. I mean, I think I'm delivering affordable rents, but I don't. Tell me it's affordable. How do I get that layered into my deal? You know, compliance. I mean, I got to hire who? So I think those are all the operational insights that you solve your problem, and you solve the market's problem. I think you eat your own dog food. This is what some say, but I think what my kind of I've always had an affinity toward. Hey, if I'm going to invest the time in fixing something operationally with our investment, I'm going to do it in a way that's not internalized to our organization, but I'm going to containerize it. And when I containerize it, um, I hope to get paid on that in the future. And it's also easier to partner with outside folks. It's more easy to give a great property manager equity in that property management company than the underlying investment. And
Right.
so I think, from the property management, we launched NOAA property management. And we obviously manage our 1,500 units and about, 1,800 other units here in Greenville, South Carolina, to our affiliate nonprofit that really leads the charge in terms of layering incentives into for-profit owners deals. Not in the slow, benign, board riddled nonprofit way, but at the cadence of business like we want, right? Like we want to actually operate very sure way. Something that if I can't understand it from an attorney, I can't underwrite it. So that's where our legal team sits. And they have almost 20,000 units on the tax abatement program there, and are able to really help restrict rents, but also educate for-profit investors on how they can do the exact same thing we've done. And, I think, each of those businesses do touch, but I think it's because we didn't see any solutions in the market. I think that's really why. I think if we would have been in a market rich with property managers, we would have never launched a property management company. We don't space, but we love the impact that it allows us to have on our resident. That it allows our thesis as investors to fully be realized at the property level. So, doing things like reporting all positive payments to the credit bureau. Why 3% of landlords do that, Micah? Um,
Wow.
so why would they? Well, I guess why don't they? The question is, why would they? And so NOAA does that, and so many other programs that we can point to that are just structurally fix issues that we've just observed over the years.
Y'all are very resident focused, right? It's very much into serving your community, building successful businesses, obviously, but like you're just talking about, making sure that at the ground level, the person that's experiencing it is still having a good life experience. Cause y'all do some things that other folks don't do in terms of even how they make their payments and stuff. What led to those ideas? And if you want to share them with the audience about how exactly that y'all do that.
Yeah, no, thank you for highlighting that. I think that the biggest opportunity we saw to improve our residents' ability to pay and their outcomes. So let's zoom out for a moment and let's just say, if what I said before, the inelastic demand exists.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I can't operate with a scarcity mindset, right? I got to believe that my resident, I'm not the final destination. I want them to buy a house. If I want to hoard them and keep them in there and like not do what's good for them, then that's a whole different approach. And I think that's a common approach. But for us, we wanted to have economically mobilizing property management. We believe that, if as our residents flourish, economically, as they have, as their credit score goes up, as they as they have the option to split their payment in half, so that they can really live this paycheck to paycheck life so many people are experiencing today. Or hey, that coming up with first and last month's rent, hey, that's a lot. If rent's $1,100, that's $2,200. How
Right.
can we posit alternative, right? That they pay us fee versus having to come up with that $2,200. It's not without good business practice. We actually go into our applicants' accounts when they through Plaid when they apply. So because we have more information, we can actually have more creativity with them so that they can have positive outcomes. And I'll say this: this isn't all sunshine and rainbows either. I mean, we have evictions. We have things. We're operating at 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 60 to 80% area median income. There are things that happen that we hate, right? But some of our residents do opt into all these great programs and they do amazingly. So you gotta keep loving even though it's hard.
Eh, Man, there's hard everywhere. And that's one thing, especially in real estate, like hard equals good. If you can solve the hard, everything you want's on the other side of it every time. It's what I'm trying to teach my 10 and 12-year-old right now. It's supposed to be hard. It's okay that it's hard. Don't make it harder than it is. It's already hard enough, but it's easy to get surprised by how hard can be. And that switches into that victim mode really quick. But when it's like, this is okay. It's just part of it. And that's where if you're going to spend any kind of duration in real estate, especially as a landlord, you're going to evict somebody. Somebody's going to do something to one of your like it's going to happen. To hope it doesn't happen is like hoping the sun ain't going to come up. Like it's you're wasting a bunch of time. Um,
And
and
that's
what I really love, man, is that viewpoint towards that the person, it's a real human that's renting the property, and they got life dreams too. They got goals too, and we all start at different places. Someone meeting them along the way to say, "Hey, here's what we can do. Here's how you can keep helping. Here's how we're going to help you to make sure that you're actually getting where you want to go." It's literally what I experienced in my real estate business, someone doing for me to help build it, right? It's literally just passing down what others are already doing, but making sure it gets to a point where even the consumer can experience it. That's life changing stuff, man.
dude, no, and once you see it and once you accomplish it in small ways, it's an energy that can't be explained. The heart and mind alignment. When you say, hey, regardless of how hard it is, and I love that phrase, there's hard everywhere. I think most folks allow that fact to I don't convince them that they don't need to bring love. They don't need to bring grace. They don't need to bring like good things because hard's everywhere.
Right.
Doesn't that put more of a value on that heart you
Ex-
have, right?
Exactly.
So can we be strong enough to, and not to be too cliche or cheesy, but to love through hard things? And I think the other side of the paradigm for maybe some of your listeners is and I love to tell people this: just because my heart bleeds doesn't mean my mind's not sharp.
Right.
Just because I have a heart for a resident, just because I have a heart to have impact, doesn't mean that, we are executing at a very high operational level. In fact, we have to have more impact. But we just decide to focus on impact and not on the entrepreneurial operating system we use here, or the systems that we use here, or the platform messaging here. But we focus on the people. right? And I think that I've never seen someone go broke focusing on people and and then having positive outcomes.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
No, me neither, man. And you said it, you don't sacrifice one for the other. The most human thing you can do is get really good at whatever it is and then be a really good human. Like to actually, because it is default is our monkey brain state, in my opinion, where you're reverting back when you just want to get angry and mean and lash out. That's what animals do. To be human is to choose the opposite, to choose to be, don't say it if it's not right. Choose a better tone. Actually take 10 minutes and empathize with somebody going through something. It doesn't mean you got to make a bad choice after it, but just recognize that humanity first. And I love how you keep saying the heart and the heart alignment. And what was the other one? Heart and mind alignment. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's right.
It- I'm very big on, I learned through life, you can make a lot of money doing a lot of things and still be very unhappy. If it doesn't pay that emotional paycheck, it don't matter how much money it pays in the end. You're going to be miserable. You're not going to enjoy your life. You're going to adopt victim mindset. And I've met people way more wealthier than me who are terrible to be around. I don't want to hang out with you. Why do you think this way? Why do you believe like that? What is it that's doing it for you? And typically deep down, you just don't like what it is that you do and you feel trapped by it. You can't get out because it makes so much money. You created some golden handcuffs for yourself where, man, the deep down to really show up for people, even when it's hard, that's when it matters the most. That's when it, like you said, it has its biggest impact is when it seems like you shouldn't do it then, where no, this is the time to do it. That's where you lead there because you don't have to sacrifice profit for people. You just don't have to do
No,
it.
no, man. No, you don't. And I could just tell what, just some of your ethos and philosophy, and I think, particularly having children, my boys are 6 and 4. They've been a great blessing to me because it kind of exposes the gaps. The law is this, if I want them to have integrity, they have to see a man live with integrity. And that's me. I can't pass on what I don't have. Right. I think that's the same for organizational change and organizational impact, as well as the impact we hope to have with our resident is that we have to possess the things that we want to see in them. And damn it, we don't have to be perfect, but we do have to be faithful to that fact. Right. And keep thinking back, even though it's hard. Right. And so I know we're getting a little onto the philosophy side, but I do think it's so important to remember that you're never gonna real estate's never going to do what you want it to do unless you can actually sit and be with yourself and actually have an approach that's unique to you and authentic to you. It doesn't matter the little things you do until you get
Right.
there. Right. And I think, and
Right.
I've seen business grow and I've seen, and I've seen all types of things grow and flourish around me. But the most exciting thing is the people, my team members and my teammates and my partners grow. It's not, yeah, the money is a byproduct of good business and good business decisions and taking care of people. It's not what we don't. That's not a KPI for me. You know.
Right. And honestly, man, I think I just turned 40 recently. My kids are 10 and 12. What you're describing is something I am noticing way more and more in our generation of business owners with a mindset towards people. Like we've watched people make a lot of money for a long time and folks get treated poorly. And then a lot of us got into it, started that version of the experience, realized I just don't want this. This isn't what I want to do. And then to see, wait a second, I don't have to do it this way. I've made way more money the opposite way now. Like by living this way and becoming someone, like you said, worth being. My kids are going to watch me every day and they learn way more by watching than by what I tell them to do. Way more. And I got to go home and go to sleep at night. I get stressed if I'm not doing stuff right. I don't want to lay there freaking out, worrying about stuff. I want to go home and be home,
Yeah, man.
actually Yeah, we are on the philosophy side, but I think this is really important stuff for business owners in general to remember. Personal development isn't just optional at this level. The higher you go, the more developed as a human being you need to be. That's one thing I love about being involved in high level masterminds in real estate. You get around guys and girls that they're doing the part that nobody else can do. Right? They're taking care of themselves. They're solving themselves. I tell everybody this, we all come with the ingredients, but nobody comes with the same recipe. And I can't solve yours and you can't solve mine. But the best thing we can do for each other is solve it for ourselves. I can
That's right.
help you. I can point stuff out, but I can't do it for you. But the moment you do it for yourself, now you and I can work together. And we
That's
can
right.
work in together in a way where there's trust actually built, where we can get alignment on our vision. And once you get that, that's where humans 1 + 1 is exponential. That's where
Mhm.
things can really take off because you're doing that part for yourself that nobody else can do. And it's 100% required. Without it, you're going to live a life that you're not going to enjoy. You're going to get a bad reputation. You're going to go through things that are because you're not being someone that's worth being around. Right? That's how I think about it. Who do I want to be? Someone worth being around. What's that look like? Man, be honest, be a good person, admit when you're wrong, ask questions, be a lifelong learner, be humble, right? Don't be the coolest person you know. That's my main thing. If I'm the coolest guy I know, I'm messing up. Like there are way cooler people out there than me. I need to go find them.
Dude, Micah, what so tell me this, and I agree totally with your the observation of, and if you kind of follow Neil Strauss or the fourth turning and have seen like, hey, we are as millennials, we're seeing things change. We're seeing that the old system, my trust in the old system isn't really working anymore. Like it's like there things need to shift. And you can tell they are. And I think visibility is a big part of that shift for that's at least that's in my heart. But so what's the gap between, your listeners that are are looking up at success and wanting to get there and the ones that have actually realized it? What is it this kind of this interpersonal this personal development, or do they think, how do they think about business relative to the successful listeners that you have? If you don't mind, because I'm really enjoying your philosophy.
Absolutely, man. Well, let me speak to it from what I do behind the scenes with the Investor Fuel Mastermind, which is being very intentional about spreading that philosophy. That, hey, there's a lot of ways to do business, but there's some ways that you can do it that are better. And you mentioned the fourth turning. It's funny you mentioned that. I don't hear a lot of people talk about that very much, especially with our generation where we're in. If you're not sure what that is, look up the YouTube video. It's really good, especially if you're a millennial, because what you're going to notice is we are part of a cycle. It's not the first time it's happened. It's happened many times. And each one, it's not exactly the same, but what comes from it are new ideas, new mentalities, new ways of it sets a whole new standard of a way of being. And that's what I'm noticing folks do is it's way more about long-term thinking. It's way more about not just taking. There's a lot of give involved. There's a lot of community mindset involved. There's more empathy than I've ever seen, honestly, in these lower in our age ranges, like people that actually have this ability to care. And that's what I noticed in my career early was that's the secret sauce, actually care. Actually care. And if you can't care, don't do it. If you can't do it, don't do it because you're not going to help anybody. But if you can care, that kind of is where your mind, your heart and mind alignment start to line up. Because that's what I'm big about. If it don't pay my emotional paycheck, I'm not that interested in it because that I don't like just doing stuff one off. I want to do something for a long time. So up front, making sure, am I aligned here? Does this line up with what I want to do? We always reserve the right to change our mind. But the more that you can get those things up front in terms of, solving yourself, the more work that you can do there. And that stuff didn't hit me until I read my first personal development book. I was 28 or 29, right when I got into real estate. And I've coached with folks on that. The reality is you're not a fully developed human until you're 25. So science has a part to do with it. Your frontal lobe's got to develop. But after that point, you go through these cycles. And there's a coach that I work with who helps me see it. He's in his 70s. And that's what I like is you've been around the corner, man. You've seen stuff I can't see. And what he points out is, in each different decade, there's different stuff you're learning. Your 30s, you're really about conquering stuff. You're expanding yourself. You're growing. And there's certain things you need to learn in that space so you don't burn out. So you actually get to your 40s and your 50s, and then your 40s, I'm experiencing a little transition right now where the most thing I care about, stability. I want a stable environment because for me, clarity comes from stability. I
Yeah.
way more comes to me and I see things I actually want to do and can pull off way more clear when I'm not freaking out, running around and doing 100 different things. I'm creating that space for me to just be. And so that's where I'm at right now is kind of drawing things back in. What is it that you really want to do? Now move out from there with all the experience you've brought with you. So I hope that answered your question, but
No.
that's what I'm seeing is more and more people shift to old belief systems that we were given aren't working for us anymore. They don't make sense. Old government systems aren't working anymore for us. They're not making sense. Just society rules aren't making any sense. And we're now getting to the age and maturing enough where we're going to be able to have a huge effect on that
Yeah.
where governments are going to be full of more of people like us than anything else and we're going to change this. That's what ultimately gives me hope is knowing behind the scenes how many people are evolving this way where they're thinking in a whole new level where so much of the stupid stuff that's bogged the last 50 years down we don't even care about. It's not even a problem to solve. Y'all invented that shit. We're just going to move on. Okay, there's real stuff to deal with now.
Right. No, I mean, and I'm not surprised to hear the deep water from you because it makes total sense. And I think that what the thread though for your listeners is, once you become self-aware that you're not perfect, you can then zoom out to see yourself as a part of a generation, as a part of a city, as a part of, something bigger than you. If you're the coolest guy or the biggest thing in your life, you are small.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
The opposite. It's the opposite of what it's the opposite of all the things you see. Right? It's not it's yeah, it's a fight to be small, to be calm, to be cadenced so that you can be sustainable. Right? All the things I aspired to in my 20s, all that stuff was fleeting. It was all hevel. It was all worthless. It was nothing, right? It really was
Right.
nothing. Right?
Right.
But today, and I turned 39 last month, so I'm tracking you. It's like maybe it's an age thing, but I think it surely can be summed up with like the way you do one thing's the way you do everything, and you're not going to experience
Love that.
this that you can't experience in your personal life. You can't, yeah. I think it's summarized in that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
And I couldn't agree more. And we'll tie it up there because that's a powerful point. And if you're listening to this, reflect on that. And
Yeah.
it's not to say that you're bad or anything. It's not a comparison game in that way. What it does is show you here's where you can do some work. Here's where there's an opportunity that exists that only you can do. And when again you're becoming self-aware and feel that, you want to feel different in your life and wake up each day with it's hard to
Freedom.
explain, but a whole different freedom, real freedom, agency is how I like to explain it now. I don't need anybody to believe me. I don't care. I'm not here to convert you. I'm not here to make you do anything. This is just how I do it and what I've noticed. And I'll share what I've noticed with you. And the older I'm getting, the more I'm hearing people tell me it's the same thing they've noticed. And it's typically the opposite of what you were doing beforehand.
Yeah,
Of
man.
what's that initial reaction? If you haven't trained your instincts, don't trust them because they could be leading you in a really poor direction. Pay attention to what it is. That's why in my own life, if something bothers me, I do really deep introspection first. Why is it bothering me? That's something my kids showed me. Doing that, they were doing something that bothers me and I'd get upset with them, tell them to stop. But one day I was like, why did that bother me? Why do I even care that they were doing that? And I reflected back, well, I got yelled at for doing that. I got in trouble for doing that. So I thought, well, why did my parents yell at me and find out, well, their parents yelled at them for it? I'm like, okay, so now I'm yelling at my kids just because 4 generations of people got yelled at for doing this? That's stupid. That's not what I want to do. I'm going to
Yeah,
do the opposite.
yeah, that's how so many people live. They don't. It's like if you don't do your work, your kids will have their work and your work to do. Right? That's just
Right.
another fact.
Right.
Kids don't you don't have. These are just facts.
I am living that, man. I am literally the one in my family that changed it. Like I was raised in a Y2K doomsday cult in the middle of the woods of northern Florida with two parents who believed some wild stuff, man. And as I got older and into that's what my 30s was really about, was like unwinding a lot of things that I did not understand, that I just absorbed for
Mm,
years and years and years. And then to be able to go back and look at, and this is every human being's job, you need to objectively look at your parents. And it's not a good thing or bad thing. It's not any of that. It's just to understand, where did they come from? Who are they? They're humans too, just like you. They were here before you. What was their experience? That's where I went and studied. Why'd y'all end up there? How do people end up in extreme belief systems like that in the middle of the woods? You don't just jump there. Two or more hard things happen really close by, and you have a predisposition to extreme belief already. They were raised in a weird environment. Then my grandfather died. My parents lost their house to an adjustable rate mortgage. And that's how you end up in the middle of the woods, man, is hard, and you react to it. And it's something that showed me in my life. If I am just how do I say this? If I'm just seeking relief, I stand longer. If I'm seeking release, that's something completely different, because sometimes you got to stand up under hard things, and relief looks like running. And it's what my parents did. They moved hours away and joined this crazy thing to avoid their problems. Where release has to do with, okay, what I do wrong? What do I
yeah.
need to do to fix it? How do I take the next steps? Freedom returns, man. Like we were talking about, you're actually back in control of your life, and you can make clear choices. The next thing you do, and that's the thing I'm happiest for with my kids, and we're really off subject now, they will not have to solve any of the stuff I solved. None
That's
of it. You
they'll that's right. They'll have their own work to do. Not to say right,
right.
but it won't be all that baggage that you brought because you did the work, right? And
Exactly.
that's the greatest gift we can give them, the freedom to have their own life experience, right? It's gonna be
Right.
full of ups, downs, you sideways, but I love that the relief release, piece. And I think, all this, for you guys that don't kind of get the connection. I mean, as you go through traumatic things in business, as you go through partner separations, as you go through anything that happens as you grow, right? That's just part of it. The larger you grow, the more surface space and opportunity there is for litigation and things. You can't outperform that. No one can. So you got to be able to release things. And if this is your first time doing it, it's going to be tough and it's going to be expensive. Right? So go ahead and you can get some practice in today in your life, right? Like,
Right.
you're the person. It doesn't matter what the proxy is.
Well, you can use the little moments to practice for the big ones. I do it every day. I live life to me. Today is practice for tomorrow. That's all. There's zero pressure. Whatever I experience today, let me go through it, handle it. I'm really big into journaling. So each morning I journal about the previous day. I've got almost 4 years in a row of every day written down, which gives me this tremendous zoomed out view of who I am and what I'm doing and why I'm even doing what I'm doing. And it showed me very little happens each day. Very little. There's a couple, maybe one beginning, sometimes maybe an end, but it's mostly just in the middle stuff. It's these things you're never going to remember. You won't remember. Your brain won't even log it as important. But if you will stay present for it, it is practice. It's
Mm,
that email you get that pisses you off. It's practice. Take a deep breath. Learn how to respond later professionally. That partner that's bugging you. It's practice. Do you want to keep the relationship or not? Everything is practice for something.
oh
And
man.
when I see it that way, again, I wanted to be a professional golfer. I like performing. I like the feeling, man. But at the same time, if you make Brooks Koepka's good about talking about this, it if you're sitting there playing in a major and all you're thinking about is playing in a major, you're gonna lose. It's just a golf swing. It's a drive like you've hit every other time. It's an iron, it's a putt. Apply it to business. You don't get to the high levels by not doing a bunch of little stuff over and over and over again. And you start to see the fundamentals are the fundamentals. They're just at different scales. And
That's right.
they're all practice leading to there. I could go
No,
forever, man. I get hyped.
no, and so do I. And no, and I appreciate. I mean, what you're transferring, if you guys are picking up, it's like the conviction. There's a reason why you have such conviction around this. These aren't things that are you're not guessing. You like you these are observations from the field, right?
Right.
And
Right.
it's
Just
take them
data.
or yeah, take them or leave them, guys. Like we don't have to be right. Just this is the life experience, right? And I think yeah, and I love that journaling habit. For me, it's it's very much, you know not isolating. That's my tendency, is to isolate. So I need to stay in community. I got to stay around folks. I got to invite others into my problems, because I will isolate and get very jaded and very disconnected from the thing, or the stressor. So I think, over the years, if it's journaling, or for me, it's like, it's very much just making sure I'm actively in community with a couple guys that keep me accountable to that, like and submitting myself to the group, right? Even, care what my job title is or what my employees think. It's actually my success has actually gotten in the way of that. you know? So
Exactly.
anyway,
It's so true, man. Again, we all got the same ingredients, but different recipes. If you're listening to this, you got to solve that for yourself. What is it that keeps you accountable to you? What is it that helps you wake up each day and keep doing the hard things? Keep doing the things that are going to create that life that you want, at the same time, having a tremendous impact on those around you. You don't have to sacrifice one for the other. Well, Mario, man, we could keep going on for a long time. I really appreciate your time today, your story, your perspective. For those that are listening in that, identify what you're talking about, what's the best way for them to find you, follow along with what you got going on?
yeah, absolutely. LinkedIn is probably the most appropriate channel. So Mario E. Brown, Mario like the video game, E and Brown like the color. So look me up, send me a connection, and let's connect.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for sharing that. If you're listening or watching in, check the show notes. We'll have Mario's links right there for you to follow along. And I highly recommend it. When you meet somebody true, cool, and that's doing it real in the business, follow along. You'll learn more than you could ever imagine by just seeing what the reality of things look like. So, Mario, again, thanks for being here. Thanks everybody who joined us along for this episode. If you got value out of today, please like this episode, share it with someone else you think get value out of it too. As always, don't forget to subscribe. We appreciate everybody that follows along with us. We have more conversations coming up with operators just like Mario, who are out there building a real business, making a real difference in the world. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.